It's time for a dog culture vocabulary class. Today's word is slander. So, slander is to dishonor or bring shame upon someone, hurting and damaging statements, rumors to cause loss and hurt to their reputation. It's an attempt to take away others' respect and honor towards a person. It's aiming to destroy individuals' confidence in other people, confidence, love for that spirited individual. So this is made to spread gossip. It's made to make people think worse of each other or other people when it may or may not be true. This is talked about in the Bible a lot. Gossip and slander in the Bible are connected to the 7 deadly sins and the 10 commandments. And it's just a nasty thing to do to tear down a family and society. And it's not just in the Bible, it's other religions. Even advanced business management people will talk about getting rid of slander in the workplace because it tears the workplace apart. And so dog culture is a culture of constant slander against fellow humans. So to show you an example, we're going to look at the story from Modesto, California. 93-year-old woman was attacked by dogs. So these are cane Corso dogs that actively go after people. Like they're assaulting the front door of this house. But the slander, and pause right here. I know people are going to say, well, libel is written, slander is spoken. I'm just talking about the overall definition of slander, trying to ruin someone's reputation, libel or slander. I'm not talking the legal definition. So go down in the comments and everybody says the owners are the problem. It's the owners. I keyword search the comments for the word owners, and everybody says the problem is the owners. The owners can't get an aggressive pet. They can't do that. They should train them or get a license. Like, look right here. They need a training or a license. Oh, okay. So if there just would have been a license, then grandma would still be alive today. So that's basically saying the owner screwed up and just didn't get a license, and then everything would have been fine. You're creating a slanderous thought process towards your fellow humans with all of this stuff. They say the dog owner should have been charged, but they won't be charged. So that is creating negative thought processes towards the police and law enforcement because they didn't charge the owners. Look at this comment. People forget that man's best friend still has killer instincts and sometimes poorly trained by negligent owners. Oh, so as long as these dogs would have gotten some training, then everything would have just been fine, huh? So they're creating this whole thing to make humans look like they're bad people for not training these dogs at the end consumer level, Oh, it's not the bad dog, it's the bad owner. Well, the whole thing is this argument about is it the owner that's bad or it's the dog that's bad? That's just a logical fallacy. The fact is that creature should not be in any home around any kids or around any grandmas. Owners. Oh, it's all the owner's fault. Blah, blah, blah. Well, people will even say that the owners are nasty. This person says, I don't know why people keep these nasty animals as pets. And then this person says, oh, they're not nasty. There's even people in here that are saying the cane Corso is this great breed. They just need this training, that training, and that training, and then everything would have been just fine. So this is just slanderous against our fellow humans. And so the whole thing about is the dog bad or is the human bad? Well, the whole issue is the dog shouldn't be there in the first place. The lawmakers, the society that allows dogs to be in human settlements, the fact is they just don't belong there. So why are you spending all this time trying to figure out who's bad and then shifting the blame over onto the human? That's just a bully tactic. The simple fact is the frickin' thing doesn't belong there in the first place. Okay, so what about this post hole digger? Is this thing good or bad? Should I go get one of these post hole diggers? Like, look, I'm going to get one of these right here. I'm going to get one of these big ones, okay? Put it in my backyard, in my neighborhood. That's pretty cool. I can dig holes anytime I want, That looks cool driving down the roads. Orange paint. Look at that. But the whole thing is, it does not belong in my freaking yard. It belongs on the farm. It belongs to a construction company or landscape company. And if somebody gets hurt operating this thing, nobody's going to say, oh, is the tractor bad or is the owner bad? Was the auger bit bad? Did the tractor run a certain type of fuel that day? No, people are going to say, hey, you had a stupid post hole digger down in your residential neighborhood, and that's not where it belongs. You caused problems. You got into the sewer line, you pulled up your neighbor's sprinkler lines. And so, just like those freaking nasty dogs, this post hole digger only belongs in certain situations. That is the problem. The problem is dogs just do not belong in human settlements. All this bullying and blame shifting that the dog culture does, oh, bad owners, bad owners, that's just a bully tactic. So look at these gigantic dump trucks. Look at these. There are the humans right there. So should I go get one of these and put it in my backyard and let my little kid drive it around? No way. You could easily run somebody over if you don't have a safety team monitoring where this truck goes. Well, I'm going to get one anyways and drive it around the neighborhood. I'm going to accidentally drive over people's cars, but I'm just going to say, well, it's not the dump truck. It's just the owners. The owners need to have a safety team. They need to have 500 different things, training, breeding, all this stuff. Would that work with one of these giant dump trucks? No, because these things do not belong in a residential environment because they're massive and huge and dangerous and can easily crush something. When these things drive around, they drive around with a huge safety team. They have a crew of people maintaining them, and they only belong in certain places. And yes, I know dogs don't really belong anywhere. They're just an expense and liability. But this is just my point. There's certain things that don't belong in human settlements, and if we put those things in human settlements, the thing that is not supposed to be there is going to get attention, and we need to give the thing that is not supposed to be there attention, and that would be the dog. The dog should not be there in the first place. We don't need to sit here and bully each other and call each other bad. Look up Bonhoeffer's theory of stupidity. That's what these dog owners are doing. They got the facts in front of them about all the dangerous cane corsos, all the attacks that cane corsos do, and look at them, brainless. They're brainless bullies. Look up the psychology of excuses. It's just a bully excuse. It's just a displacement of blame, displacement of responsibility. And wouldn't you know it, the story that we're talking about, here's a newer story. Well, no charges were filed against those dog owners. The family is upset that no charges were filed. So, how about the owners then? If everybody's going to say that the owners are bad, how come they're not charged? How come they are allowed to murder their neighbor's grandmother, their neighbor's mother, because the whole family was there, the grandmother and great-grandmother. So she had 2 generations of people below her that are living with her and got her life ended by dogs and no charges. So who's responsible then? Does it even matter? I don't think it does. What matters is the presence of the dog. The dog should not be there. So let's look at the definition of slander again. It's an oral statement about an individual that harms his reputation or standing within the community. So the whole situation with the 93-year-old woman being killed by dogs, at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of people standing around talking shit about each other. Talking shit about the owner, talking shit about dogs, talking shit about, oh, the police aren't going to do anything about it. Animal control is not going to do anything about it. So it's slanderous just all around. It just makes people hate on each other just so we can own more dogs. Dogs that, remember what I said, they just do not belong in the community in the first place. It's not a question of who's bad, who didn't train the dog. The dog doesn't belong there in the first place. We do not have the capacity to mind control a mindless predator. Just like a little child doesn't have the capacity to run a chainsaw. You can put it in the house, maybe the kid won't get hurt, but something will probably happen. A chainsaw, a dump truck, a post hole digger, it does not belong inside the house around grandma and little kids. Here's our family in Modesto.
Family is moving from the home they've known for 20 years. Difficult seeing their next door neighbor, the man who owns the two dogs.
Our family, we would like to see him in jail. We want.
So they're going to move because they can't stand seeing that guy every day. The guy that basically killed their grandmother, their mother, via those two dogs. And meanwhile, society sits back and doesn't do anything about it. So that's the problem with the dogs. Society in general is just creating this stupidity. It's just creating a bully environment. Back to Bonhoeffer's theory of stupidity. The whole society, all the Modesto police, animal control, the district attorney, they're all getting this. They're listening to this. No bad dogs, no bad dogs. There's all the local people that allow that dog to chase them and bite them. Those are all the police officers that responded to complaints from those dogs, soaking up all this BS. It's acquired stupidity. They're just stupid. They're too stupid to allow their neighbors to defend themselves against dogs.
Not for her to die in vain.
The family is frustrated and angry. The Stanislaus County District Attorney's Office is not filing criminal charges against the dog's owner.
Yeah, the district attorney, you sit there and allow these people to have these dogs, but you refuse to file charges when somebody's killed. So, the owner, the police officer, the district attorney, they're just sitting there soaking up this dog culture. Just like, which one of these guys right here is the district attorney? Right here. That's probably the district attorney. Here's the dog culture. So if the owner's responsible, then explain this part to me.
How they determined that the dog's owner didn't do anything criminal, they say several factors played into that decision, including no prior attacks or bites by the dogs, witness interviews, and camera footage.
It all happened just.
Yet, the neighbors said that the dogs had attacked them before. But guess what? They probably didn't call. The neighbors said that those dogs caused a bunch of problems and they didn't go out on walks because of those dogs. But guess what? They didn't call. Instead, they sat back and said, "Oh, it's just it's just a dog. It's just what they do. The problem is the owner." So this is the results of all of this slanderous, bullying stupidity. Modesto woman dies, and these deaths are you can set your clock to them. So this isn't like some cherry pick story. This happens all the time. So what do you guys think? Is dog culture full of slanderous culture? Do these things belong in our neighborhoods in the first place? Thanks for watching.